Hello, I am Alyssa Nadworny, and this is NPR's Book of the Day. So, one day, as I was meandering through the streets of Key West, Florida, I came upon one of my favorite places to waste away in. Sorry, Jimmy Buffett, I am actually talking about a bookstore. In this case, it was famed author Judy Blume's spot. It's called Books and Books. Blume has written so many classic books. Many of hers in the store were signed. And she's lived an incredible life. She reflected on her writing in a talk with NPR's Scott Simon at the Santa Fe Literary Festival in May.
This message comes from Sattva. In 1775, the Minutemen had Paul Revere pounding on the door to rouse them for battle. Today, you've got a toddler, a 5 a.m. alarm, or a boss who needs it yesterday. Whatever your battle, Sattva builds handcrafted luxury mattresses designed to help you sleep deeper and recover more fully at prices below traditional retail. If it's been a minute since you've had restorative sleep, celebrate this July 4th with up to $625 off at sattva.com/NPR.
Judy Blume, the incomparable writer of books for young adults, including Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Deenie, Tiger Eyes, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, and Blubber, doesn't write books anymore. The last one came out more than a decade ago. 2015's In the Unlikely Event was a book for adults about 3 plane crashes within the span of 2 months in Elizabeth, New Jersey, where Judy was a teenager at the time.
It was a crazy time. And how about being a writer for 40 years before you tell this story?
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter became a commercial airline pilot, and she said, "Mother, how could you never have told me this story that you grew up with?"
You never told your...
No, but it lived inside me, It was there. And finally, I got to tell it.
Judy Blume is done writing stories, but she's not retired. She owns and runs a bookstore in Key West, Florida, and her books remain beloved, her readers numerous and devoted. I had the immense pleasure of sitting down with Judy Blume last month at the Santa Fe International Literary Festival to talk. And here's an excerpt from our conversation. This is almost coming home for you. Tell us about your feeling for New Mexico.
It is coming home for me. I don't know if the audience knows, but in 1976 in the summer, I moved to New Mexico with 2 teenagers and a bad husband. But we took care of that. So I lived here. My kids went all through high school, junior high. And what's really important to me is that I never could have written some of the books that I wrote without having lived here, having really known New Mexico the way that I did.
Well, I'm thinking of Tiger Eyes, for example,
that was
which has one of the most extraordinary beginnings. This is Davy is a teenage girl, and as the book opens, she's getting dressed for her father's funeral and doesn't know what pair of shoes. Yeah.
She can't find her shoes, and so finally her mother says, I think, take a pair of mine.
Yeah.
And she takes heels like that, and she can't really walk in them. Yeah, it's very tender and sad.
It's very tender and sad, and it reminded me your real gift for putting in the details that strike into our hearts.
Details in fiction are everything. Even kids write and say, I like your books because people brush their teeth. I mean, it's that kind of, everyday stuff.
Yeah.
And that gives us a bond with the characters. Yeah. That's what it is. We have to feel for them.
How did you begin to write? What do you think made you a writer?
I was a reader. And I meet so many kids and they say, I want to be a writer when I grow up, but I don't like to read. And I say, you know what? Forget being a writer. Do something else. Because I think every writer that I know anyway grew up a reader. And certainly that was true for me. How do you learn to write? To me, you learn to write by reading books. And then you try it out yourself and you figure out how to do it.
Well, what was the spark that set it in motion from reading to writing, do you think?
Oh, I was married young. I had 2 kids young. And I was desperate for creative outlet. I had been a creative kid in school, doing all kinds of things. And I loved taking care of babies, but I needed something else, and it could have been anything.
I have read that at one point in your life you made felt art pieces.
Oh, God, my first career, I stopped because the Elmer's glue started to, I'm an allergic person, started to give me funny things on the tips of my fingers. And I thought, I got to find something else. And I made $300 selling those, and I bought myself a small electric typewriter. And the rest is history. But I always had stories inside my head. When I was 9 years old, everybody knows this story. I bounced a rubber ball against the side of my house for hours. I don't know what my mother thought I was doing, but I was just bouncing. But really what was going on were stories, fabulous stories, very melodramatic. Stories I never told. I was 9. I never told anybody. I never asked a friend, hey, do you have stories inside your head all the time? Because I thought they'd think I was weird, which I might have been. But so the stories were always there. I never wrote them down.
Yeah.
And I wrote a lot of stories that were never published.
Could we hear about one of them?
The first one was You, Mom, You. And I illustrated it. And believe me, I am not an illustrator.
At what point in your life did you do this?
When I started to write children's books.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was You, Mom, You. You were a kid. Tell us what you did. Okay, I'll tell you all the things I did when I was small. I sucked my thumb and loved a bear. One time I cut off all my hair. Enough said.
I think that's.
And then at the end they say, so Mom, why do you ever fuss? You were really just like us.
You're writing for young readers. What were you trying to capture? What do you capture in that age group?
Oh, I don't know what. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was telling a story, the best that I could do. I didn't know anybody who wrote or anybody who had ever written. And I was naive in that way, and I just wrote what I knew to be true. And maybe because of that, that's why I reached an audience.
I found myself thinking from the moment I read, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. I just told my mother I want a bra. Please help me grow, God.
Well,
you know where." I love the irreverence that you honor in young people. I think that's great, and I'm not sure how many authors did that before.
It was like I had this special relationship with God. It really started because I was trying to protect my father, and so I made bargains. If you protect Daddy and keep him safe while we were separated from one another, I will get 100 on my spelling test. And then it went into getting a little bit older and having my God as my confidant. I mean, he was my friend. He wasn't there in synagogue when I went. I don't know where he was, but he was there for me. Or she. In those days, it was he.
Let me try and draw you out on talking about children and parents, because many of your young characters seem, for reasons I understand, to speak more naturally to their friends than to their parents, which makes for great dialogue, by the way. But
I think it depends on your age. The reason that they came to me when kids still sat down and wrote letters, is I was a stranger, and they wouldn't have to face me at the breakfast table, and they could pour out their feelings. You could ask my son, who is here. Don't ask him. Don't. All these kids would say, oh, I wish you were my mother, I wish you were my mother. And I was thinking, that's fantasy. Because I wasn't that great as a mother. I look back and I think, oh my God, I made so many mistakes. And all you can do is say, I'm sorry, I love you, and I hope we can move on. Well, and we have. Right, Larry?
When you were writing...
Yes, for all those 50-something years, yeah.
What was the process like for you?
Well, I kept a notebook for each book, and I scribbled everything in it, everything, for a long time, for months. Just snips, and also when I was getting ready to write, and I try to describe this to kids, like I'm a regular person, but then I'm getting ready to write, and I get antenna, they come out, and they see and hear everything. It's a heightened awareness. Yeah, and that's where all these wonderful little things come, and I just write them down. And then on the day that I feel ready to start, well, that's either the scariest part of writing or the best. Because, when you have a good day, I had kids, and I would sit down at the dinner table and I would say, you will never believe what Tony did today. Because they're real. They're real to you, and you're living with them for months, sometimes years, with these characters. And you're locked up in a little room all day with them. That's why 50 years is enough. I was ready to come out into the world. But I have found another career that I love dearly, which is I have a bookstore, and I love that.
So no chance you're going to go back to felt art?
No.
I get the idea that you, at least for the moment, don't miss writing right now.
I don't miss writing, but I'm very glad that I wrote. Writing changed my life. Yeah. But it was time to let it go. Could I have come up with more ideas and written more books? Yes. But I'm really happy that I found something else that I love to do. I love to be with all of your books. I love that. Yeah. I love the hands-on. I love making displays in the bookstore. I love touching them and smelling them and, putting them in the hands of readers. And it's just very satisfying.
Do characters ever come calling on you?
My characters?
Yeah. Well, yeah, your characters or people who want to be your characters?
No, they know better. They're quiet. Do you know how many letters I get? Do you know it's all over the internet now? We need Judy to write a book, Margaret in Menopause. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Do you know what?
I love that idea.
Margaret is always going to be 12. She's not knocking saying, let me out, I'm in menopause.
Oh, my.
They are what they are. They stay in the book. They live for me in the book. And then I have to let them go.
Yeah. This has been a wonderful night.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
I want to thank Judy Blume for not only being with us tonight, but for being with us for so many years and in so many ways. Such an important part of so many lives. You have enriched all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
This message comes from Rosetta Stone. Their latest innovation, Rosetta Stone Sapphire, helps you go from knowing phrases to speaking confidently. They have helped millions learn languages for over 30 years. Take your language skills to the next level with Rosetta Stone Sapphire. Get unlimited access to all 25 Rosetta Stone languages, plus all the new Sapphire learning tools. Visit rosettastone.com/NPR and receive 20% off today.
This message comes from Capital One Commercial Bank. Access comprehensive solutions from a top commercial bank that prioritizes your needs today and goals for tomorrow. Learn more at CapitalOne.com/commercial. Member FDIC. This message comes from BetterHelp, whose survey found that while 85% of Americans believe getting mental health support is wise, 74% say society discourages it. Don't let stigma stand in the way. Visit BetterHelp.com/NPR.